Met Tom and Bonnie and Cheryl there, and they started to tell their stories. And Tom was telling the story of how he and Mark had gone to Mark Schreck, is another of the workers who has three little girls, who he is raising. He has worked at Bain for 8 years. Tom, 33, like Cheryl. Bonnie, 23, as Bonnie told us at the PBS station in Tampa, where we're broadcasting from. She knows exactly how many years she's been there because it's how old her daughter is. 23. She said she was pregnant when she started working last night when we went to the Bainport encampment. Her daughter was sleeping in one of the tents. So she said, I know exactly how many years I've been there. And she said, and I can't believe after 23 years working there, I will now compete with my daughter for minimum wage jobs. And Tom told the story of he and Mark going to Bettendorf, Iowa. They realized only not so long ago that their company, Sensata, was owned by Bain Capital, and that was Mitt Romney's company. And the silver lining, they said, was that there is a human face there and a human being on all of this, and maybe they could reach him. And they, in this little area of Illinois, just an hour and a half from here, it's just where we came down from today, they are between two swing states, which means a lot of campaign appearances where they could perhaps talk to the man who co-founded Bain Capital. They're between Wisconsin and Iowa. So they went over to Bettendorf because Mitt Romney was speaking just a few weeks ago. Tom stood up and tried to ask Mitt Romney if he could intervene to save their jobs. And everyone around him started to chant as he got up, USA, USA. You know, I found this both at the Republican and Democratic conventions. When you hear this chant go up, somehow this USA chant is now synonymous with squelching dissent, because it always goes up when someone has unfurled a banner or starts chanting for me. They try to drown it out. So whenever I hear USA now, I'm very curious about who's getting pummeled in the middle of the chanting crowd. But Tom described being there. He was like on the seventh row, very close to Mitt Romney, and wanted to ask him to intervene and come to Freeport. And as he started to say that their U.S. workers were concerned about their jobs being outsourced to China, they started chanting USA, USA. But Mitt Romney is a supreme politician. He understands that in the corporate media climate in this country, that the microphones and the spotlights will be on him, not on the crowd. And so he said, I will take questions, do a Q&A after this event as Tom is being taken out by the Secret Service. But you don't see that. And it sounds like a very reasonable response. And he said that the people around him were shouting him, you're a communist, you're a communist. And he was saying, communist? He said, here we are, U.S. workers, concerned that our jobs are being sent to communist China. They're calling us communists, he said. But anyway, they set up this encampment. And on Saturday, Bain workers from other plants, other companies will be joining them. And I'm sure this is on Mitt Romney's radar screen. They delivered 35,000 signatures. They tried to do it here in Madison at the Bain offices, and they called the police. They tried to do it in Evanston, Illinois. And this movement is simply growing, because I think it is reaching people across the political spectrum. As Mitt Romney talks about creating 12 million jobs, I asked them, well, why Mitt Romney really? I mean, he did co-found Bain Capital, but he's not there anymore. But the fact is that Gawker actually also just uncovered under Freedom of Information documents that show that Mitt Romney continues to profit from Bain Capital and is specifically invested in Sensata, the company that's owned by Bain Capital. And of course, he knows them and can weigh in. There, we're talking about 160 jobs. Mark Schreck, who we had on Democracy Now! This morning, who has the three little girls, and his youngest daughter, Kennedy, turned 5 today, came from another plant, Honeywell plant, where they lost their job because they outsource to China, and then move to this plant and find the same thing. I don't know if Cheryl described, I had to step out for a minute, that she went to China and she trained Chinese workers. And then Chinese workers were brought to Freeport. And these people who are losing their jobs had to train their replacements. So the just indignity of all of this, and through it, the dignity that they maintain. Very careful to say, we don't dislike the Chinese workers. This isn't about them. This is about what's happening in our country and with our company, the decisions that these companies have made. So they train their replacements, and day by day, the factory floor, the machines on the factory floor that make these auto sensors, the sensors in automobiles, are being stripped. They're sending the equipment to China. And they're just watching the demise of this company that they have basically grown up in, spent their whole adult lives there. They have just been given their pink slips, the 60-day notices of termination. And they said that they've been told that they will lose their jobs on November 5th. That's the day before Election Day. They will go file for unemployment and vote. Just to be safe, they should probably bring photo ID. But let me talk a little more about the Republican convention. You know, our job as journalists is to follow the